Speedrunning is a challenge that turns our favorite game into a highly technical showcase of skill, strategy, and sometimes luck. At least that was what Google gave me as an answer to speedrunning, but however, first ever speedrun of Andreas was made only 1 year after the game's release, and it was released in 2005, 1 year after the game's release, even though the game was released in late 2004, so technically there wasn't even a year of the game's release, and it was made for 7 hours and 53 seconds, compared to the current world record with 2 hours and 58 minutes. How did San Andreas become so optimized in almost 2 decades? Well, there's a bunch to talk about, but we won't waste much time, so let's get into the technical explanation first. We'll start with some backstory. Before 2014, the speedruns for GTA San Andreas was very not optimized. It was more of traditional gameplay without using any major glitches to skip any certain missions, any certain segments of the game, because this game is a segments long. You have the Los Santos segment, the Badlands segment, the San Fierro segment, the Desert segment, the Las Venturas segment, and then again the last Los Santos segment. So yeah, the game is very long, and in terms of skipping a certain mission, it was not really possible before 2014. But in 2014 they were discovered a glitch that allowed players to dupe missions. In order for you to understand what duping means, we have to understand how the game first works. Now, the game has a variable in its memory that is called onMission. This is the nickname of the variable in the game's code. Now, this variable can only move to 0 to 1. When it's on 0, the player is on the free roam mode, the so-called free roam mode, where you can start other missions and you are not locked. When you start the mission, you get in the on mission 1, and when you're on mission 1, you can't start other missions, because of course that's made in order for you to stop players from starting another mission. But if you trick the game into thinking that you're on mission 0 during a mission, you can start it twice. Now here's the catch. The phone calls in the game are themselves missions that turn the variable to 1. So speedrunners use the phone to manipulate the game into thinking that they're on mission 0 while doing a mission. But this is a really complex way, and let's start with the thing, why would you want to start a mission twice? Now, in order for you to understand this, you have to look at the mission chains. And let's take for example the Rider chains of missions. Like, Rider gives 3 missions: Home Invasion, Catalyst, and robbing Uncle Sam. Now, these 3 missions come in order. You first complete Home Invasion, then you go to Catalyst, and then you finish with robbing Uncle Sam. But in order for the game to know when you did a certain mission, it has again a variable in its memory called missions completed. Now, this is not tied to the name of a certain mission, but to the number of missions the player has completed from the certain character. So let's take for example you complete Home Invasion, this variable goes to 1. When you do Catalyst, it goes to 2, and when you do robbing Uncle Sam, it goes to 3, and then it passes the mission, because every certain chain has a number of missions that have to be completed in order for the chain to be completed. So let's take for example, if you start Home Invasion twice and complete it twice, the variable will go to 2. So you're gonna skip Catalyst, and that's very used because you can skip a whole missions, and you technically can do it even if you triple the mission or make it 4 times. But it's a very complex, because so you may ask yourself, why don't you do the first mission of the game big mode like 100 times and then just skip to the final mission? Well, it's a little bit complicated because every mission chain in the game is tied to a certain penultimate mission. The penultimate missions are the missions that unlock the final mission for the current segment. This is like the pre-last mission, if you want to understand like that. So if you skip a whole chain of mission, you will soft lock out of progress and never unlock the penultimate mission, because the penultimate mission is the most important for the segment to be considered completed. But there's also a catch to this, because this doesn't work in the San Fierro segment. There's a complete difference about the San Fierro, because the San Fierro segment, but we're gonna see it later in the video. So yeah, let's say it again. You do Home Invasion twice, you skip Catalyst, you go right to the robbing Uncle Sam. but until 2016 duping in Los Santos wasn't really a thing because the setups were a lot longer, so it just wasn't worth it to invest so much time in order to dupe a mission, because you would have doing it much faster if you do it just the traditional way. In 2016, a new method of duplication was found in the game, which was still by using the phone call, by overlaying the phone call, but this time with the vigilante of the police bike. You have to cancel the phone call at a certain second, so you know, and add 20 seconds plus this second, so then it's gonna ring, and when it's about to ring, you get off the police bike holding the submission key and letting go just before the animation ends. The trick is 1 frame, 1 in 3 chances chance, which really made the speedrun start to say, is this really a speedrun? It's just luck. We're gonna jump straight to the San Fierro segment because there isn't much to say about the battle segment, because there is not like major skipping in the battle segment, because the Catalina's missions are like a mission in missions, because you can like duplicate them with. In San Fierro, aka the most technical segment of the whole game, is very different because I mean, it's not very different in terms of like duping, but it's very nonsense. The missions you do doesn't make a lot of sense. In the beginning of the segment, there is a mission called Gigi. Now this mission is a very important one. You want to dupe this mission, because duping this mission skips the Gigi mission after that and skips the whole Woozy chains of missions. Because this mission is tied with the chains of missions, so you don't have to do any of them. So yeah, that's a huge skip. And you can skip the whole chain of mission in this segment because you skip and the penultimate one, because this is the segment of San Fierro is the most technical one, and it's really very glitchy. You can try it out, it's very glitchy. So let's move to the Was Ventura segment, which is the shortest out of all. We won't talk about the San Fierro segment that much because there isn't that much thing to explain. There are a lot of technical stuff. The Was Ventura segment is the shortest segment. The penultimate mission is the St. Mark's Bistro and then a Home in the Hills. You want to dupe Home in the Hills in order to skip the next mission, which where you have to fly with airplane. It's a very long mission, so you want to dupe Home in the Hills. That's the only dupe you do in this mission, in this segment. And that's the current world record only does this. So the most important thing to understand is the last segment. The last segment is the most important, because before we're gonna jump straight to the last mission, and it's not actually the last mission. In the last segment, there's a couple of things you have to understand. You have to, after completely load Desperados, the game insists on you for taking 15 enemy gang territory. Now this is a lot of time spent just for doing nothing instead of just going straight to the final mission. So the thing you want to do is you want to either dupe load Desperados, because this keeps the first segment of the end of the line, and also that skips the whole doings of gang territories. But there's another trick that you can do, which is tripling Riot, which is the most optimized one, but it's actually very difficult, and we won't explain it here because it's very technical, and it has a lot to do with the previous Was Ventura's missions. So yeah, that was the short version for GTA San Andreas speedrun. It's very much just talking about the technical stuff. We don't go really into deep of all the missions, but I'll sure make a video about this, but it's gonna be very longer than this video. This is just the main things, like the on mission status, the phone call, the mission chains, because they're very important in this game. But for GTA San Andreas, it's very different from GTA 3 and Vice City, because GTA Vice City and GTA 3 have a completely different mission chains, and we're gonna talk about this in a different video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.